Okay, good morning. Good morning. Okay, I need a bit more energy in this room. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so is it safe to assume that everyone in this room is okay with me not using a mic? Okay. Yeah? I think I've been blessed with a voice loud enough, right? Yes. People at the back, can you hear me loud and clear? Yes. All right, kick ass. All right, okay. So, my name is AJ. I am here not to lecture you. I am here not to train you. I'm not here as a coach, and I find this pillar really annoying because I have to keep running around. So you know what, guys? I'm just going to stick around right here, all right? That's cool. Sorry, guys on the left, especially the front row. I think you might not be able to see me. Where's a good point for me to stand where everyone can see me? Right here? All good? Right here? All right, it's a bit far out from the stage, but okay, all right, okay. So this is a bit more intimate, okay. All right, cool, so we get up close and personal, all right? Okay, the first thing I want to ask is, like, how many of you are really familiar with, generally, the different generations that are living in coexistence in Malaysia right now? Like, you know, are you guys familiar with terms like Gen Y, Gen X, baby boomers, et cetera, right? So I've dedicated the last 10 years of my life doing a lot of research in this area, right? 10 years. Now, a lot of you, and some of you might be thinking this, I get this in every audience I go to. Am I a Malaysian? Yes, I am. I was born in Malaysia, proudly so. It's a long story. My parents are mixed, but I was raised and I grew up a good part of my life in Tamantin Dr. Ismail, TTDI represent. I don't know if you guys know. I'm sure you guys know TTDI, right? So one of the things that I realized very early on in life was the fact that when I used to engage with people and talk to them at a level, at a more personal level, and I used to talk to them about stories, right? Any project or any task that I was doing would just sort of fall into place. But if I were to do the traditional hard or soft sell, right, which a lot of us do, right? Now, I don't know if it's safe for me to assume this, but everybody in this audience must be in one way or not capacity of sales, right? You guys are all sales agents, am I right? Right, okay, so there is, I don't know if you know this, but right now we're about 50% at millennials, right? So I myself am a millennial. So basically a millennial, or is a Gen Y, as we call it, are people who are born between 1980 to 2000. Right? So if anybody is born after 1980, before 2000, you are a millennial. If you're after 2000, well, you're too young, get out, right? No, just kidding. No, but 2000, after 2000, you are considered a Gen Z, right? Or an iGen, right? They have different names for them, but they're in school right now. But I'm actually curious, before I start any talk, I always ask, without people giving away their age, and they're very uncomfortable giving away their age, especially the ladies, so I'm not going to ask the ladies how old you are, right? But I do want to know, generally, how many people here are in that bracket of 1980 or 2000? Hands up, just as generally. Oh, so we've got a good balance of millennials. And the rest, I suppose, are Gen X. I don't see any baby boomers in this room. So baby boomers are people who are generally like probably about their mid-50s right now, right? So I don't see any mid-50 people. All of you look pretty young and bright. So you guys probably are Gen X, right? And why am I talking about this? Because you'll notice that every generation in Malaysia right now has a very different worldview, right? If you talk to a CEO like Kashif, right? So I know Kashif, right? So I bumped into him a couple of times, and I remember Kashif is probably a Gen X. Without a doubt, he's a Gen X, right? So Kashif's views on certain things might be very different from mine. Doesn't make Kashif wrong and me right. Doesn't make me right and him wrong, right? But it's also about the different generational gaps. So what I'm here to talk about today is how those generational gaps have made a huge difference in the way brands and customers and people in general see sales, right? Sales has changed tremendously, right? The way that we thought sales would be about 10 years ago and the way we would pitch and approach our clients has now evolved. And to give you a quick summary, I always say this in all the audiences I go to, that brands have moved away from features and products into emotions, right? And I'll give you an example, right? And that's why I talk about stories. Like, so one of the things that I do is I've had the privilege and the honor of going all around the world, and I talk at different universities. I'm a TEDx speaker. I don't know if you guys watch TEDx, right? I'm a TEDx speaker. I've had the honor of standing on the red dot. We call it the red dot because the red dot on every TEDx stage, right? And I do a lot of speaking and coaching with Gen Y, particularly. And then I also tell Gen X, I also share with Gen X, people who are around Kashif's age, right? Or a bit younger than Kashif as well. How can they connect with the millennial workforce? How can they connect with the younger audience? Now, why am I sharing this with you guys? Because I'm telling you right now, the old marketing playbook that you guys are using right now, the old one, the traditional one, guys, it's dead, right? It's dead. It's maybe not, you don't feel it right now. You know, there's a reason why you don't feel it right now, because Malaysia hasn't catched up on it yet, right? If you compare the entire world, right now, Malaysia is catching up really slowly, but steadily. But if you go to Hong Kong, you go to Singapore, you go to places like, even like in Canada, you'll see that even realtors, like realty agents, are using more than features and more than products and more than pitches, they're using stories to empower people, right? And I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of a brand that I grew up with. And like when I was in Tummonton, I was a kid, I remember I used to watch this ad on TV. It was by Gillette. All the guys here know what Gillette is. I hope the girls don't know what it is, but the guys do know what Gillette is, right? So Gillette, remember that jingle that we used to have? Gillette, the best a man can get. I don't know, all the young ones probably are looking at me like, what is he talking about? But like, I remember, yeah, like all the young ones are like, what is he on about, right? But like, the ad in Gillette was always some dude without a shirt, right, shaving away with a shaver, and the ad was all about the shaver. They showed the shaver in 15 different angles, and it was all like a 3D thing, and it was just, the whole ad, 50 seconds, is all about the shaver, right? If you look at Gillette's ads today, and you'll see that today, I'll share an example with you, you'll see what I mean by shifting away from a feature to an emotion, right? Why do I do this? I do this because I want to add value to salesforce, right? I want to add value to people who are in different industries. It doesn't matter if it's a group of realtors, or a group of insurance agents, or a group of any type of salespeople. Because I spent 15 years doing all sorts of sales, including with the sales that you guys are doing in property, right? I was a fund manager for 18 million US dollars for FDI investor in property in Malaysia, right? A foreign direct investor. They were basically Indian jewelry diamond guys who were pumping in all their money into Malaysia in 6-star resorts. So I was actually selling that whole 6-star resort for a lot of the investors we were looking at, right? So what I'm saying is, I've been where you're at, right? And I've also come out and I've actually done a lot of research on where is the world heading to. So a lot of people in the industry refer to me as a futurist, right? People, I can see things that are gonna happen in the industry and in Malaysia in the next 5 years. And I'm here to share that knowledge with you because I think it'll add a lot of value when you understand how to approach the new customer of today, right? Very soon, the customers that you used to deal with, quite frankly, no offense, the guys who can afford all the properties that you're selling to right now, you know, let's be honest, they're going to be dead in a while, right? You know, the people who are high net worth individuals who have all that money, soon their sons are going to be the ones you're going to be talking about. Am I right? Their sons, their daughters, right? Very soon you've got, today in Malaysia, you've got 50%, guys, 50%. That's 50, not 15. 50% of people in the market today who are coming into the workforce are millennials. People like me, like my age, right? So these are the guys who are going to start having the bank balances that you want, right? To put it in a crude way, they're the guys who are soon, if not now, in the next 5 years, you're going to talk to them. In the next 10 years. If you don't know how to speak their lingo, what's going to happen is they're not going to be able to close that deal. You're not going to be able to feel that way it is. And I'm here to share a little bit of the future in terms of how I see sales in its traditional form being dead. Right? And that's what I'm going to walk you through. So just bear with me, right? So how many of you guys have seen this before? I always start off with a funny slide, right? How many of you guys have seen this before? Come on, guys. What is this? Okay, what is this? Speak up. So, by the way, my sessions are really interactive. So there's no such thing as put up your hands. Like, you can just shout out whatever you want. You want to call me an idiot? Just call me an idiot in public as well. It's all good, right? Say, hey, dude, shut up. You're an idiot. That's fine. All right, cool. I'm good with it. No worries, right? No worries. So whatever you want, right? But like, you know, as long as you say something. What I do, what really gets under my skin is when like I go to like audiences and I have an awesome time with them. Everyone's laughing, everyone's having a good time, but everyone's pin drop silent. Like, any questions? Nobody asks a question, right? Come on, dude, I'm not gonna bite, at least not too hard, right? So like, so tell me, like, what is this? The evolution, right? Okay, right, so one of the things that I've realized is that if you look at the evolutionary chart, right? What do you think is behind that question mark? What do you think that is? What's that question mark over there? What does that represent? That represents us, right? Homo sapiens, right? Us, right? So keep this slide in mind, okay? I'm gonna drive a point home through this slide. So keep this slide in mind when I go on, right? So let me talk a little bit about myself. So I used to work with Google before I started up my own startups. Today I run 4 different startups in different areas of education and technology. They're currently valued about 20 million ringgit, the 4 startups, the different startups that I do. They're primarily around education. I had mentioned this earlier, I'm a TEDx speaker, and I'm on a variety of different advisory boards, and I also do a lot of mentoring around the world, right? So what I'm doing is I'm not doing this to show off, I'm just showing to you what I'm passionate about in life. I'm doing this because I'm driven by engaging and empowering people to understand better what the future holds for all of us, right? So again, I'm not training anyone, I'm not lecturing, I'm here as a friend. I'm here as a friend who's having a conversation with other friends, right? I'm not here to profess or to lecture or to train or to coach. I just look at you guys as people who are subject matter experts in your own industry. And I'm not going to dare to think that I know everything about your industry. You probably know it better than I do. But I do know a little bit about the future. I do know a little bit about digital. And I do know a little about millennials, right? And that is why I want to share that with you, because very soon, the people you're going to be dealing with, more often than not, are those people, right? If not today, in 5 years. If not in 5 years, in 10 years. You better get ready for that change in the world, right? It's going to happen sooner or later. It's already happening in Hong Kong and Singapore next door anyways. So I'm just here to create some perspective. So what are we doing today? Okay, how do you define digital, guys? Can you tell me what digital is, guys? Somebody, tell me what digital is. What is digital? Pardon?
Paperless.
I can't hear you, bro.
Paperless.
Paperless? Okay, what else? What do you think? When I say digital, what's the word that comes in your head? Did I hear somebody say complicated? I heard somebody say complicated. I said, what do you think of digital? Oh, complicated, right? And even anything else? What's digital?
Numbers.
Numbness? Number. 1 0, oh, binary. Okay, all right. Bro, where are you from, man?
Netherlands.
Netherlands? What do you think when I say digital, bro? Internet? Okay, all right. What if I told you, like, so this is really interesting. This is my research. What I've realized is that these brackets we give to each other, right? These brackets that we say, like for example, you meet somebody who happens to be in a particular age bracket. They look a little bit older than you are. A lot of people make these assumptions about other generations, don't we? I'll give you an example. You see somebody who's younger, like maybe they're in their college years, right? You kind of automatically assume they must be really with it when it comes to their iPhone, right? You kind of assume that, oh, these people really know how to use the iPhone. They probably know the features better than I do. Am I right? But if you see somebody slightly older, right? Like, okay, if you see somebody like Kashif on the road, right? You wouldn't think he's a digital tech savvy dude, right? You wouldn't straight off the bat say that, oh, he must be really with digital. But you know, the thing is, Kashif may really be with it. He may really with it. And that's what I mean. I mean that these categorizations that we give people are actually causing a lot of negativity in the market more than positivity. We jump to assumptions just by looking at people's age, their race, their general position in life. And they're like, oh, you make a lot of assumptions about it. And why am I sharing this with you? Because it's causing a lot of problems in the market today. A lot of people, for example, look at younger people and say they probably don't have the sort of budgets that I need to talk to. You know what I mean? Am I right? Has that ever happened to you guys? You kind of look at somebody and go, oh, that guy's pretty young. I don't think he can afford it, right? You've seen those videos where a guy walks into a Porsche showroom. He's really young. He's wearing a pair of shorts and a set of slippers. And he just walks in, really young guy. And all the salespeople just don't even look at him. They don't look at him twice. They keep on just saying, sir, can I lead you out? Can I do this, right? And then to prove a point in that same video, basically after a while, he pulls up with a McLaren, right? His girlfriend pulls up with a McLaren, and he sits in it. And the salespeople are basically kicking themselves in the ass, saying that why did I just judge somebody just because they're wearing a pair of shorts and slippers, and the guy was probably in his early 30s. He probably couldn't afford this car. But you know what? The world's changing. Things are changing. Everything's being disrupted. You've heard this term, right? Disruption, right? So I've been researching disruption for the last 10 years before the word even came about, right? We've just given it a word, disruption. So why am I here? Because I want you to understand that every one of us, despite our age, it doesn't matter if you're a baby boomer or if I'm a millennial or, you know, Fareen is a Gen Z, like she's 18, right? Although she'd like to believe that. But, right, but all that is about the fact, understanding what it's really about is that we all live a digital life. Digital is not like something of a device. Digital is not just a device or something that we use. Digital is actually the way we live our lives today. And I'll give you an example. What do we call this, guys? You call it a phone, I call it a smartphone, a lot of people call it a smartphone, right? Question, what does a phone imply? From a dictionary point of view, what does the word phone mean? Communication, right? It means, you know what, I'm going to pick up the phone and call someone, right? Here's the interesting thing. Here's disruption for you. How much of the time do we actually use to call someone versus doing everything else on this device now? Question, guys. Think about it. We call this a smartphone, and a phone implies picking up the phone and calling someone. But let's be real about it. We spend 80% of our time not calling anyone. Am I right? I walk into a mall, right, and some dude is standing there with his friend. I swear, this is a true story. It cracked me up. I was standing in Wanatama. I live pretty near Wanatama, right? And this guy was standing there. He was like a young dude. And he was standing there texting, and his friend was right next to him, like literally next to him. And he was like, bro, check it out, bro. I just WhatsApp you, bro. Hey, bro. And then the guy is like sitting right, he's standing right next to him. He's standing right there. And he's like, oh yeah, I just got it, oh, damn funny, bro. And I'm like looking at the two of them, and I'm laughing. And they think I'm laughing at the joke. But actually, unfortunately, I'm laughing at them, right? Because I gotta tell you, I'm thinking, why don't you put the phone down and just tell him the joke, dude? Like, he's right next to you, right? Why are you WhatsApping the joke to somebody right next to you, right? But that's the generation we live in, right? And you know what? I can't laugh at them because I've been doing the same thing pretty often too. Somebody's in my office, round the block, I'm WhatsApping them, right? I didn't go up to their block and say, hey, dude, you wanna go for lunch? No, I WhatsApp at lunch. You know, and he's just right down it's like, but I still say that, right? But we do it all the time. So that's an example, guys. Like, we call this a smartphone, but it's not even a phone anymore, man. It's our world. If I take your car away, you'll survive. I take your phone away, you'll have a stroke. Am I right? I'll take your phone away, you'll be like, oh shit, dude, life is really bleak. I think I'm gonna go commit suicide. Thanks, have a good day. You know? But if I take your car away, you'll still survive. You got Uber, you got Grab, you probably Grab from someone else's phone, you Uber from someone else's phone, you do all that. But if I take your phone away, right, dude, you are in trouble. Am I right? Yeah. Because it's not a phone anymore. You see, your life, the way we live it is digital. We live a digital life. It's not something that you learn. It's not a subject. It's not complicated. It's not numbers. It's our life. We are a digital generation. It doesn't matter if you're Gen Y, Gen X, Gen C, whatever you are. We all live a digital life. I know 70-year-old CEOs who are sitting on the board of Sime Darby right now who WhatsApp more than I do, man. They WhatsApp at 12 in the night. Hey, bro, hey. You know, that's what they do. That's what they do. He's 70 years old. People say, oh, he probably doesn't know anything about technology. This guy's there Snapchatting at 70 years old, dude. Come on, man. How can you assume somebody, just because of their age, is a particular way? So it's bullshit, right? But what I'm saying to you is that first of all, you need to understand that the entire voice of your customer, if you're not online, like bro, what's your name?
Lars.
Pardon?
Lars.
How do I spell that?
L-A-R-S.
Lars, okay. So what Lars said, the internet, right? If you're not internet enabled, if you don't have your eyes and ears of the market online somehow, it doesn't matter which channel, but if you're not listening to the market and understanding the most important thing, which is the voice of your customers, and believe me, in a market where 50% of them are millennials today, trust me, they are online, right? Social media is not something you can ignore anymore, right? How many of you actively use social media to actually qualify your leads, qualify the people you're going to approach? Just be honest, hands up. How many of you actually use digital? 4, 3, 4, 5 people, right? Okay, can I ask the rest why you don't use it? Why don't you believe in using the online world to understand the market better or understand the people that you might be talking to better? Can I ask this question? And just be honest about it. That's a nice ringtone, bro. Anybody, volunteer, just say what you want to say. You can be completely brutally honest about it. If you think it sucks, tell me it sucks. If you think I don't understand it, say it out loud. Why don't you think the voice of your customer is in the digital world around you, online? And if you do believe that, then why aren't you actively pursuing it? Why aren't you building a brand? And I don't mean IQI's brand. So this is something I want to talk to you guys about. Before I jump into that, I want to ask you this question. Why don't you guys think you want to use it? Any reason? Is there anything stopping you from doing it? Pardon? Don't know. Okay, I like that man's honesty. Well done, thank you, sir. Anything else? Is there any reason why you guys aren't actively using social media to just feel the market out, to get an idea about it? I know you guys have your feeds online all the time, right? You guys are on Facebook. Okay, let's do this check. Who's on Facebook here? Hands up. Who's on Instagram? Who's on, it's going to get lesser now. Who's on Snapchat? Fareed's jumping at the back. All right, here's the interesting part. Who's on LinkedIn? It's always the lowest. Always the lowest number in the rooms are always people on LinkedIn. Like the fewest hands will be on LinkedIn. You know what I have to tell you guys? I'm going to tell you a secret. In the future, within the next 2 to 5 years, LinkedIn is going to be the most powerful marketplace in Malaysia. I'm telling you right now. You know what I keep on hearing from people? And this is the average response I get from Malaysians. Bro, LinkedIn, I don't know, not very effective for sales, bro. The very few people, only 300 million around the world also got, I don't know how many in Malaysia got also, don't know. You know, so here's the thing. Where other people see very few Malaysians, I see an opportunity. Like, don't get me wrong, guys, but if you find out a platform doesn't have competition on it, wouldn't you go there? Like, here I am thinking to myself, right? Dude, I don't get you. You're telling me that because there are too few Malaysian companies on that platform, you don't want to go there. If I were you, I'd be running towards it because I would build my presence, I would build my brand really quickly there. I would become a human brand for IQI. I would build my own profile and reach out to more and more high net worth individuals. Who are the people that you're targeting? People who have money. On LinkedIn, who are the majority of people, even if they're Malaysians, who are the people on LinkedIn? They're C-level. They're people who have money, man. So, you know what? Don't underestimate the power of a network that people aren't talking about day in and day out. Just because it's not Facebook, just because it's not Instagram, trust me, the ROI, the return on investment you'll get from LinkedIn in the next 2 to 5 years will be quadrupled in comparison to Instagram and Facebook. You know why? Because those are platforms built purely for social networking. But LinkedIn is very professional, right? If you know how to build your presence, and I don't mean an IQI presence, I mean your own personal brand on LinkedIn, which is what I specialize in. I coach people on this, is you will see that your comments on your posts through storytelling. If you become a storyteller, that's what I position. If you go on LinkedIn, you connect with me, you'll see the first thing that comes up about AJ, storyteller, right? Is because every time I post, a couple of hundred people from all over the world like my posts. And you know what the beauty is? Whenever they comment on those posts, just a comment turns into a private message. A private message turns into a coffee meeting. A coffee meeting turns into a deal. You see what I mean? There's an entire flow. But if you underestimate it because you're scared, you might think twice, whatever the reasons are, don't take that chance. Don't worry about that fear. Like I know some people are, oh, I don't know where to start. That's okay. Reach out to people like AJ. I'll do it for free, man. I'll give you advice for free for you to build your profile. No problem. I'll get you started. I won't even charge you any money for it. Why? Because I want to see Malaysians more active this way. I want to see people driving more value through stories. I'm going to give you an example. So as I said before, people are tuning out the old marketing playbook. And this is what I want you to see. So check this out. These are Malaysian ads, guys. I'm going to step up here for a second, all right, guys? So these are Malaysian stats. These are actually from Malaysia. 86% of Malaysians skip TV ads. 86% Malaysians today skip TV ads. Let that sink in for a bit. Do you know why they skip the ads? Do you know why we have such a high rate? Guys, anybody tell me, why do 86% of Malaysians skip ads? Exactly, that's it, spot on, dude. Half of us don't even watch TV anymore. You know what? I know I have, like, my circle of friends, we don't own TVs anymore. We use TVs to actually, like, you know, port our iPad movies onto them or our MacBook movies. We download them off torrents, we watch it. We iFlix, we Netflix, right? We don't have time for our TV anymore, right? I know lots of people who have discontinued, no offense to, discontinued. I was just an Astro last week, I shouldn't say that. Discontinued their Astro subscription, right? But I love you, Astro. So, just want to say that, because, they had me there last week, I would say that. So, but all I'm saying is the traditional, like, everything around us is changing, right? People watch more so-called content on their mobiles than they do on an actual big screen today. You know, guys, people are always on the go. 86% of Malaysians skip traditional TV ads. You know why? Because advertisements in those forms are dead. They don't work anymore. They don't tell a story, so people don't buy into them. Brands don't care about eyeballs anymore. Brands don't care how many times you see me. So I'm going to put up 15 billion billboards all over the place so you can see me over and over again. Nobody cares about that. And customers don't get affected by that anymore. You know what they want? You know what? I'll give you an example, guys. Maxis and Petronas, every year when they're doing Diwali, Hari Raya, or Gongsi Fachai, all the different, they always comes up with an ad and they win awards. Why do they win awards, guys?
Tell a story.
They're always telling a story. Absolutely. Spot on, man. They're always telling a story. Those ads touch us because they tell a story. They talk about national spirit. They talk about characters. You can feel and connect with those characters. So it's not about having, no offense, Maxis's name everywhere you go or IQI's name everywhere you go. No, it's about humanizing the brand. It's about creating people who customer can reach out to and connect with. So it's time for brands to become more authentic, more human. That's why I say that everybody who works for a brand needs to realize that the company isn't the brand anymore. You are. You're the brand. It doesn't matter if I've got extra. So one of my companies called Strategize. They're the ones called the Tomorrow Academy. The ones that I talked about that are all valued, right? You'll see on LinkedIn, I don't use any of those titles. I don't say CDO of Strategize and everywhere I go. No, I don't say that. I just say I'm a storyteller. I say I'm a speaker. I'm a mentor. That's it. Because I believe that I bring enough value as AJ, just AJ alone. That's all it needs to be. So what I want to share with you is the power of this new way of doing sales. It's called inbound. It's called influence. You influence customers today. You don't pitch them anymore. You pitch them, they'll just lose interest. And that's how the world is moving, right? So check this out, guys. 91% of the people that you send a direct mailer to or an email to probably don't even read it. Let's be honest. Do you agree with me? Yeah? 44% don't even open the mail ever. That's why you find tons of people in this room. I bet you'll have people with the phone with a red dot around their mailbox, 3001. And I'll be like, dude, when you gotta check your email, dude. And he was like, yeah, I'll get to it. When? Next year? I'm like, seriously, like 3001 emails. What were you getting mails from? The Queen? Like, what were you doing? Like, seriously, crazy, right? And 200 million people on the do not call list. Man, it's gotten so bad in Malaysia. This is Malaysia, the 200 million companies and people from all over the world who are blacklisted already coming into Malaysia and Singapore. 200 million people around the world who are blacklisted. Can you imagine the amount of people who are trying to get Malaysian attention? Right? Companies abroad, all those people combined, 100, 200 million different people and companies. And think about it, guys. We have apps today like Truecaller. I don't know if you guys know about the app called Truecaller. It tells you before somebody calls you who's unknown to not pick up. I'll give you an example. When Maxis calls me for the bill, it says, Maxis not do it, do not pick up. Maxis not do it, do not pick up. It's really funny because like I don't even know because they call from a different number every time, right? They're smart, right? So they'll be, Maxis not do it, Maxis not do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't pick it up, right? But they even know that. So the whole old marketing playbook, calls, emails, all this stuff, TV ads, all that is dead, guys. It's dying. It's not working. I'm here to share that with you, that you've got to start shifting your mindset. Your mindset has to move to the truly digital world, right? It has to move to, how can I actually connect with my customer in a new way, right? So I'm here to introduce that concept to you, right? So really what's happened is data is the new currency. Money is not the currency anymore, guys. That's why we have things like Bitcoin. You guys heard about Bitcoin? Yes. Cryptocurrency? Why is it happening? You know what? We're going to live in a world where we have fintech, bank tech, reg tech, all sorts of different techs, right, that are coming up disrupting it. One day, banks will be outdated because we'll have startups and we'll have things around us that will allow us to use and connect with things, right, without having to go to a big bank. So knowledge is power, and the balance of power has shifted. You know what's happened, guys? This is what's happened. Customers are empowered, and now engagement happens on their terms. Customers are now the ones in charge completely. The brands don't control the market anymore. It's no longer a world where Siemens, Shell, Petronas, and all these companies control you. Now it's you controlling them. They follow your lead. They want to know what you think. They want to know what you feel. And then they want to replicate that into their ads. They want to replicate that into their positioning as a brand. Why? Because they want people to feel something. And when they feel something good, what happens? You connect that good feeling with the brand. And I'll give you an example very soon, right? So Gary Vee, anybody know who Gary Vee is? Yeah. I've had a pleasure of actually doing a private message exchange with Gary Vee on LinkedIn. Again, another reason why you should get on LinkedIn. People that you would just dream of being able to talk to will actually talk to you on LinkedIn, guys. Not Twitter, not Facebook, but on LinkedIn. You can reach them. So I messaged Gary, and Gary messaged me, although it was 2 weeks later. But he messaged, and I talked to him. I just did a quick message exchange. Great post, Gary. Thanks. That's all it was. Nothing else. I didn't get any feedback from anything. I just said, great post. I'm a huge fan of yours. And he said, thanks. Stay well. That's all he said. Something like that, right? That was great. It was really nice of him to do that. He took the time to do it. But my point is, the fact that I could message someone who's an icon like that, and he could respond to me, it's a completely different world. Can you imagine the potential that you have as realtors, as people who are actually reaching customers? If you can get connected with influencers on LinkedIn and then go to market with them or have them somehow, post what you're sharing or talk about what you're doing, imagine the amount of revenue or the growth that you can experience in a very short period of time. You just need to know where to start. And that's where I come into the picture. People like me in the market come into the picture to help the average Malaysian to understand, hey, you know what? It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult to start. You don't have to be perfect to start. You just need to start. That's what it is, So what I say, and I love this, what Gary said, there is no sale without the story. There's no knockout without the setup, right? If you don't have a story, you'll never sell. At least you'll probably end up being an average to good salesperson, but not an awesome one, not a great one, not one that will be remembered, right? Not in this world. So this is the video I wanted to show. Now, watch this video with an open mind, and I hope you understand what I'm trying to say when I talk about stories and the power of stories, right?
Good morning, sir. Ready to get up? Get your feet up. How you doing today? Good morning.
I remember always looking at my dad's arms like when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. He had arms like Popeye. He was a tugboat captain, and I so admired his physique. And now it's a different story, And that's just the way it is. So my dad had a stroke, and now he can't get around, he can't walk. And he needs me to help him out. And my son and I have been doing it. And I'd do anything for him.
I can give you a really good mohawk. You look like a punk rocker.
There's a definite role reversal that happens. I have to wake him up in the morning and take care of him, groom him, and shave him, and shower him. And it's actually an honor to do that for your father, because he did it for me when I was a kid. My dad's got the greatest face. His squishy face is just amazing. He's sort of thin skinned, and I don't want to cut it at all. So I gotta be careful with that face. Like he'll just say, do this, do that. You gotta make sure that you shave my neck down. You gotta do my lips up. He was really particular about his sideburns.
That's where your sideburns start? Yeah. I'm not going to touch your sideburns. Okay, good. Okay. How am I doing so far, then?
Okay. It takes me like a half an hour to shave my father, because I have to be so careful.
Okay, well. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. That face.
I'm one of the lucky ones. A lot of my friends my age did not have their dads, and I still have my dad. He always says to me, he looks up at me after I pour love on him for the whole day, and he says, I don't know what I did to deserve you. And I say, Dad, I got you. I got you, Dad.
So, do you get what I mean, guys? Like, when you saw that video, what did you feel? What did you feel when you saw that video? You connected with it, right? Right? You thought about perhaps somebody else. You thought about your own father, perhaps. You thought about everything except for the shaver. Am I right? You notice in that entire clip of 2 minutes, they showed the shaver for like 2 seconds. Right? Compare that with 10 years ago when I was growing up in Tamanton. They had that shaver being shown for like half the ad in different angles in 3D, over and over again, and a guy shirtless shaving. That's all. That's all he was doing, right? So the world is changing, guys. What's happening now is they're shifting away from features to emotion, right? People want to feel something. They want to feel something. So when you go out there and represent IQI, when you represent whatever projects you're representing, whatever you're doing, remember that you need to be a storyteller, not a salesman anymore. Because you need to connect with people beyond just pitching them. Hey, you know what? Using just a down payment policy to sort of get them on it, or using, you know, some benefits or a discount or a rebate. No, those things are slowly but surely going to go, right? You may still use them in pockets right now. You may still like, oh, but it still works. AJ don't know what he's talking about. No, just wait. If not today, tomorrow, right? It will happen. You will actually start to see that customers want to feel something. They want to have a relationship with you. They want to connect with you. They want more authenticity, right? So that's what I mean. When people say hard sales are dead, but you need to soft sell, I was like, no, dude. You don't even soft sell anymore. You influence. You create stories. And whatever you do, that's why I recommend, when you know, don't underestimate the power of LinkedIn. I'd recommend everybody get on top on LinkedIn, get on social media platform, and start writing stories. Not stories that emphasize pricing and like features, again, but stories like this. Stories where people feel the need for IQI. They understand why IQI. Not the what and the how of IQI, but the why. Why do I need, why does IQI represent something that makes me feel good in the market? If you can connect that with people, and IQI can connect that, and you can be that representative, that human brand, people feel that, I promise you, your revenue will grow. Your revenue will grow. Just by comments on one post, you'll find deals coming your way. Just by coffee meetings. You don't need to qualify people. You don't need a sales funnel anymore. You just be who you are naturally, and you'll connect with people, right? So the role of the story is several, but what I really want to talk about is, in my research, I've come to the conclusion that there are only 2 types of people in this world. Only 2 types of people. Just 2. I don't want to we make things really complex. We make things a lot, like there's this type of person, there's this type of person, and there are 15 million types of people. You know what? No. There are just 2 types of people. There are the passive and the active. And guess what? Neither one is wrong. Neither one is wrong. If you're a passive person, it's fine. If you're an active person, it's fine. But the question is, which one do you want to be? And do you know which one you are? That's what I always ask people. Do you know which one you are? Because a lot of people don't know which one they are. If I ask somebody in the audience right now, between the 2 of them, the active, which is constantly searching for answers in life, or the passive, who kind of just stumbles onto things, you know, oh, okay, I accidentally discovered an opportunity. Which one are you? How many of you can answer me honestly? So let's do a quick check. Which one are you guys? Are you the active or the passive? Active. Active? Why do you say that? Intent driven? What's your intent? Is it just money? Because if it is, then that's not an intent.
Hybrid.
Hybrid. What's the hybrid, sir? Passive and active. That's a good answer. First one ever in the audience. Right. So what I'm saying is that if you are active, then you've already won half the battle, because it means that you are intentionally going out there day in and day out with a mission to achieve. Right? If that mission is money or profit or, you know, people or deals, whatever it is, but you have a mission. Gotta tell you, man, that's some good comedy, bro. It's okay, it's cool, dude. Don't worry about it. I don't have rules like this, no. If you want, you can continue the conversation, sir. We can all listen into it. No worries. Okay, all right. So, remember the slide before? Yeah, so this is now, I've taken away the question mark, and I'm showing you what it is. You see what humanity has become is we've become one color in our lives, right? we don't believe in stories anymore. And I'll give you an example. Our lives are all around KPIs. I'll tell you that. The only thing we talk about on Monday mornings is what are we going to close? What are the deals we're closing? And you know what? That's not a really great life, guys. Because you're obsessed with just one thing, and quite frankly, you're just one color. You're just one color. So you're like that blue dude over there. But what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to do in the world, and why do I go around and talk to so many people, is because I want people to realize that innately, we have a host of different colors inside of us, right? We can be storytellers, all of us. We don't need to always be talking about pitching somebody or looking at somebody as an opportunity. Oh, is this guy worth my time or not? No. Because you know what? If you measure somebody just by money every time you meet him, whether or not this person's worth my time, is he? Waste my time? Out. You know? No, you know what? I meet too many sales, and all the sales training I do is around this. Every client that calls me for sales training, they have the same problem. People just don't want to give anybody time anymore. Because we live such a fast life, right? We're on our mobiles, we're always looking. We spend 50% on our devices. Do you know that, guys? Today, we spend 50% of our day looking at a screen of some sort. Right now, you're looking at that screen. Later on, you're looking at the screen that's in your hands. Then when you get home, you watch another screen. We're all about screens these days, man. Right? We might as well start talking to machines, not to people. And that's what's happening already, right? So what I'm saying is, get back in touch with your human self. Get back in touch with stories. And that's why I talk about there's a difference between being childish and childlike. You remember when we were kids? When we were kids, we would be not scared to take any risk. We'd go out there and make fools of ourselves, but we would try. Over and over again, we'd try, and we wouldn't worry. We wouldn't be worried about it. But being childish is selfish, but being childlike is really important. Because children are always curious. They always want to try something new. What I'm trying to get at is, try something new. Don't do the same thing over and over again. If a pitch isn't working, then maybe find another platform you can try to figure out, like LinkedIn, right? Maybe go somewhere else, try a different networking event, go and talk to people, try building a story, write a blog, try something new in your life, right? Because trust me, sooner or later, the world is the customers you're dealing with, they want to connect with you in different channels. They want to reach you in different ways, not just one way, which is you calling them up and saying, hey, can I meet you? No, that's not going to work anymore, guys. You need to create an awareness. You need to create a brand beyond just IQI. You need to create a brand of yourselves. That's why I spend so much time on LinkedIn, because more than 50% of my revenue in terms of my own financial success comes from platforms like LinkedIn. Because my connections and my conversations and everything that happens there, they are all crafted into meetings, and then I meet them, I see if I can bring real value to them, and if they do, the deal closes. Right? So from one post, I have a record. From one post, I've actually closed nearly 100,000 just from one comment. 100,000, and that you still have CEOs sitting around saying, I don't see the ROI of social media. You know, I see a lot of people, a lot of the CEOs you meet till today, especially, no offense, the baby boomer ones, they'll be like, AJ, I don't know, I don't think there's any ROI. Or how can I measure? I can't measure anything on I need to know KPIs, bro. I need KPIs. I need to know the metrics. How do I measure everything? You know what? If we keep measuring everything, you're not human anymore. Because being human is immeasurable. Being a storyteller is immeasurable, man. That story that I gave you, can I measure the KPI of the feelings you had from you watched that video? No, I can't measure it. Does it mean I stop doing it just because there's no KPI on it, no ROI? No. So my point is, guys, is that we're living in a very different world, right? And I'm just giving you an introduction. Today is an introductory session. Fareen, how much time do I have? Sorry? How much time check? Am I fine? Oh, good? All right. So, how many of you guys saw this campaign? How many of you guys remember this campaign, guys? Yeah? Remember that? You'll be super shocked if you find out the findings from the campaign. Okay, so question. I want to ask you guys, will Coke ever go out of business? Will Coke ever go out of business? Will Coca-Cola go out of business? No matter how many people keep on complaining that, dude, it's sugar, it's illegal, it's a drug, man, it's bad for you, dude, it's bad, it's horrible, man, don't drink it. How many people do you see listening to that? There's one person who becomes an advocate of anti-Coke, and 9 others start drinking Coke like hell. Right? I mean, every time I see these guys, like, no offense, I drink Coke, right? I know it's not good for me. You know what? Okay, I'll live on my own life. Fine, I get it, okay? I get it, fine. I'm taking a chance with drinking 9 spoons of sugar or 10 spoons of sugar or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, it's all about the fact that that moment, that enjoyable moment that you're drinking Coke, fine, man, I'm accountable for it. If it's bad for my health, it's bad for my health. Big deal, right? But why would a 123-year-old company go to the trouble of spending $2.6 million to do this campaign? Why would a company that's never going to go out of business, we all agree, right? It's never going to go out of business. Why would they spend $2.6 million to do a campaign like this in Singapore and across the Southeast Asian regions? Question, guys. Why?
Awareness, experience to the customer.
Very well said. Yes, that's correct. Anybody else?
To get personal with the customers.
Absolutely. Well done. You read off the slides. Congratulations, bro. Personalized. No worries. Just kidding, man. Yeah. Anybody else? Dude, what's your name, bro? Yeah, I'm looking right at you. What's your name, bro? Harvey. Harvey.
AVI.
Avi. Sorry, I thought it was Harvey, man. My bad. So, Avi, why do you think Coke did this?
It's because of stuff like this that they stay relevant.
Okay. Am I talking to, who am I talking to now, bro? Am I talking to you? Okay. Sorry. I was asking, sorry, man. Sorry, confusion. I was talking to him, bro. And then, but you know what? You can talk to, no worries. So, Avi, what did you want to say? Sorry, I didn't catch your, I just got thrown off for a second. What did you say about Coke?
Because of stuff like this that they stay.
On top?
Yeah.
Okay, well said. Now, what's your name, bro?
Harvey.
You're really Harvey. Oh, wow. What a coincidence, man. So your name is Avi and his name is Harvey. All right, okay, so Harvey, what do you think, why do you think Coke did that?
Because nobody done this in the market before.
Nobody done this in the market before. Get this, guys. Check this out. Out of the 83% of people who got their name on a can, what they were doing was they're putting your name on a can, right? So they put AJ on the side of a can, right? On a Coke can, right? 83% of them never drank the Coke. They never drank the Coke. They never opened the can, guys. Check that out. And you know what? You know why Coke did it? You know what people did when they got their name on it? You know, what do you do when you get like a plaque? Or what do you do when you get a medal? What do you do? You go put it somewhere that you trust, right? You go and put it somewhere that you really like, right? So you know what these guys did? They went and took a Coke can with their name on it and put it right there in their living room. Or right there where the keys were hanged, you know, at their house. And you know what it was doing? Coke found a really, really effective way to drive itself in your head over and over again. And the people who didn't drink Coke, who are hardcore anti-Coke, even they started drinking Coke. You know why? Because they could start seeing a Coke can with their name on it. And what it did was, it was driving psychology, right? It was driving that psychology, saying that, oh, Coke is good. It makes me feel good. It's got my name on it. It must be good. It's me. It's me. It's constantly reinforcing it really subtly. Guess what, guys? 83% of the people who got the cans didn't drink the Coke, but sales revenue grew by 26% that year alone. 26%.
I think this is kind of the marketing. So people will post it on Instagram and Facebook.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? They'll tell a story. They'll say, I was at Mid-Valley today, and you know what? Coke gave me a can, and they put my name on it, and it's all about the story. And then you know what? You read the story and go, hey, bro, let's go to Mid-Valley, bro. Let's go. Right? That's how it is, right? And that's exactly what happens. That's how it catches on, right? So what I'm saying is, a company that is never going to go out of business. Coke is never going to go out of business. They still spent money to build a brand. What excuse do we have? You see what I mean? An empire like Coke, 123 years old, they still $2.6 million on building awareness and personalization. What excuse do we have to not do it? We have to go out there and become storytellers like Coke. We need to take that same intent, that same motivation, and start touching the lives of our customers. Because when you touch their lives, you go beyond a salesperson. You become something that they feel. And once they feel something, trust me, they'll give you all their business. There's an old saying, people buy from people who they like, right? If they like you beyond just a sales guy, trust me, you'll get a lot more out of that relationship than just a check. You'll get real relationships. And you can, or hopefully don't marry them. And But bro, whatever floats your boat. Right? So, all right. So what I'm saying here is that we live in the most interesting time. Do you agree with me, guys? We live in the most interesting time in the history of mankind. Like things that used to be have changed. You know what? The largest taxi company is now one that doesn't own a taxi in Malaysia. The largest real estate provider in the world owns zero real estate, Airbnb, right? So how are we even reconciling all this information? It doesn't matter if you're a baby boomer or a Gen Y or a Gen Z, I don't care what you are, but you can't deny the fact the world is changing. The question is, are you changing with it? Are you going to sit back and just go, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to stick around and be who I am. I'm just going to call my usual buddies and call them up and say, hey, want to buy ya, bro? No, man. You got to find a new way of going into the market. And it doesn't matter how old you are, because it's not tough. The reason why I say it's not tough, because you're already doing it, man. You already spent 50% with the device anyways. You spent more time with your device than your wife and your husband. Am I right? Probably it's a bit worrying though, guys. Right, so we live in what we call big bang disruptive innovation, right? So the reality is, and this is something, the reality is that today, really, it's no longer about something being digital in our life. Everything we do is digital. Everything. Believe it or not. You order food, you do it off your mobile. You talk to people, you do it off your mobile. You message people, you do it off your mobile. You book your vacation, you do it off your mobile. Some people are saying, no, I don't do it on my mobile, I do it on my laptop. Well, it's still a device, right, dude? I had that in the audience. One time I did that same line, and there's some guy at the back saying, oh, bro, wrong. I do it on my mobile, on my computer at home. I said, yeah, but it's still a computer, right, dude? You still are using a device. My point is, your life has changed. You are no longer taking out the yellow pages and finding someone's number. You're using your contact page book, right? So what I'm saying is, if this has been you and me in our lives, trust me, everybody in this room has been at this point. I put this slide up because there's always one wise ass in the class, in the audience who says, dude, I don't believe I'm digital. I'm off the grid, bro. Like there's always some dude who says I'm off the grid. Like I put my mobile away by 5 in the evening and I don't listen. I just switch off everything. I turn off all the devices. Okay, good, that's great. But has this been you? And even that dude goes, yeah, it's been me. Even that dude is going to be the one saying, okay, yeah, it's been like that. One time I was driving, my wife was talking to me, and I was just texting while driving. You see? Even that dude is a massive offender of digital. They're still doing it. And so what am I getting at? Is like the conversation is no longer about what is the old way of doing things and what's the new way of doing things. There's no such thing as traditional and digital anymore. Our lives are digital, period. Accept it. Move on. Now the question is, once you've accepted it, too many people don't want to accept it. People keep on saying, oh, leave it to the younger generation lah. You know, younger generation, they know all this stuff lah. You just let them. Like my nephew, who's like 13 years old, that guy knows how to use the new iPhone much better than I do. No denying that. He knows the features better. But you know what? I'm not going to go, oh, you know what? Just because you're younger, I'm just going to let you be the one who controls everything. No, man. I'm going to upskill myself too. It doesn't matter how old I am. I might be 30, but it doesn't make a difference. 30, 13, 80, 60, whatever, dude. So what I'm trying to say is that around us in the Asian markets, there are many case studies of how digital is changing people's lives, but it's also affecting us negatively. And I need you to know the negatives. Here are the negatives, guys. In South Korea, this is really interesting. In South Korea, they launched virtual supermarkets. Get this, guys. Virtual supermarkets. Do you know what that is? At a subway station, you walk into an actual store that has like touch screens on the shelves instead of actual products. And the touch screens show you the products that they have at the store. And all you do is you use your, so in Korea, they have something called Kakao Talk. That's the WhatsApp and the WeChat equivalent. They're really big on that in Korea, right? In South Korea, not in North. In North Korea, they have, well, they don't have much anyways. Sorry. So the Kakao Talk, right? So here's the thing. They launched virtual supermarkets. They spent a ton of money. They launched it big, in a big way. They had like 24 different stores launch across South Korea on different stations. And get this, guys, it failed. It failed. It was a complete bomb. They didn't see any growth. Nobody went there. Can anybody tell me why? It was so easy. It was so convenient. All you did was, check out how convenient this was. Instead of having to rush back home When you have a busy day at work, right? You come back home, you're really tired, but you need to go and do groceries. So you get up, go to the grocery store and get all the stuff on the way back from home. You pick up all those bags and you come back home, you drag them all the way. Imagine this, guys. Instead of that scenario, imagine you going a subway, you're using the MRT, you stop off at the subway station, which has a grocery store. All you do is you use your native KakaoTalk or WeChat or WhatsApp or whatever. You just scan each of the QR codes, put in the quantity, and that food and that item or whatever it is delivered to your house as you speak. Imagine how convenient it is. Question, guys. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work, man? Anybody?
No one was home.
No one was home. Good point. No, man. I wish that would be pretty funny. Our stores did not grow nationwide because no one was home. No. This just in. We just discovered South Koreans are not home ever. No, but seriously. No, but all jokes aside, really, why? Why did it not work?
Because the people,
Expensively, one good point. What was it?
because the people they still prefer personal touch and
Absolutely, dude.
traditional.
Okay, question, guys. Well said, man. Well done. Question, guys. Who do you think is, in terms of the sex, female and male, who are the real target demographics for grocery stores? Female, right? Without a doubt, right? Reen. He's just cheering up, right? So, man, that's like an image I can't get out of my head now. You dancing in the back, right? So, okay, so get this. Out of the Korean women who went to the store, their number one complaint was that when I'm buying fruits and vegetables, I want to be able to feel them. I don't want to be looking at my phone and looking at a QR code and snapping it against a virtual, like a 3D banana going round and round. I don't give a shit about that. I don't want to buy it like that. I want to pick up the bananas and feel the banana. I want to be able to feel like the onions. I want to be able to see the texture, right? But like, instead of doing all that, you made it convenient, but I can't feel anything anymore. I can't pick it up and I can taste it, I can't smell it anymore. So you've taken away the entire experience. So the whole thing failed. You see what I mean? Digital is not about a particular subject. Digital is how our world is changing so rapidly around us. Everything needs to be disrupted. Most of the people today don't even call City Cab or Yellow Cab on the phone anymore. You're just grabbing and Ubering now, man. It doesn't matter how old you are, am I right? You're still grabbing and Ubering. So my point is that just because digital has immense potential, it also has the negatives. The negative is that our humanity is getting lesser and lesser in our touch points. And you're becoming less and less of a storyteller. You need to bring that back. So in a way, the previous generations are right. In a way, us millennials are wrong about these certain things, right? The way that our parents used to tell us stories. Hey, when we were kids, we were sitting in bed and we're going to go to sleep. What do our parents do? They told us a story. You know, cartoons, I got to tell you something, guys. Cartoons today suck, right? Cartoons really suck today, man. Because I got to tell you, the cartoons I grew up with, they were awesome. You know why? Because they had a story in them every time. Today, cartoons are crap. No offense. Sorry, Cartoon Network, right? So, like, I'm telling you, man, like every cartoon I watch my nephews and everybody watching cartoons, and I say, what nonsense is this, man? There's no morals, there's no messages, there's no basis in it. But when I was a kid, we watched, yeah, sure, our graphics were crappy. Sure, I accept that. You know what? We didn't have awesome graphics, we didn't have awesome animation techniques, but we had substance. We had Thundercats, we had like, you know, Transformers, we had all these things. And they're all like these really crappy graphics, but when we watched them, we learned something from Lionel and from Optimus Prime. We learned something from every time. Every time at the end of an episode, we learned something. And that reason why you remembered it, you know why you remembered it? Because it was a story, guys. You remember a story. So you got to stop pitching and start telling stories, yo. That's what I'm saying, right? So I'm not going to take up much of your time. I've got a lot more slides, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to conclude here because I don't want to get too deep in the subject. The subject is really deep. Actually, this subject is actually a 2-day workshop that I conduct, right? And I go really deep into it. And I actually coach people. I ask them to bring their laptops with them. I coach them. I help them build an entire profile, a brand online. You know, I walk them through the end-to-end of digital leadership. I talk about how, it doesn't matter if you're an insurance agent, a realtor, it doesn't matter who you are, I don't care. I will show you how to become a storyteller, right? For you to understand how to add real value to not just yourself, by learning from others, but also in other people's lives, beyond just a paycheck, right? So I want to conclude with the fact that many of the customers need to be able to see you. And if you're not in the digital world, they can't see you. So if you want to know more about how you can be there, if you need help, you need initial advice, feel free to reach out, ask me some questions now, or ask me questions offline. But with that, I conclude. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's been awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, sorry, my bad.
Thank you very much, AJ.
Incredible.
Does anyone have any questions before this, after this, now? No? Okay, guys, AJ, thank you very much.
No worries.
We would like to give him a little present from IQI.
Oh, wow. No Coke? No Coke? Oh, okay, all right. Thank you. My God, woman, this is heavy. You trying to make me work out or what?
Yeah.
It's been a while. Dude, I'm really holding on to things here. Thank you, bro. Thank you.